Hi, walkthrough video number 2. This time I'm going to be doing the Tony Stewart sprint car racing game. Um, this game came out on February 2020, and this game is on PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam. So, quick little background on each of the cars. This is the TQ, called a TQ Midget or Midget. It's the easiest of these three to drive in the game. Each from right to left it's kind of like a farm system, like in Major League in baseball. To once you master one car, you move up to the top, the wing sprint cars at the end. So a TQ Midget is 400 horsepower and it weighs about 900 pounds with the driver in the car. So very light, and has a lot of horsepower. And these cars kind of sound like, I think they sound like a snowmobile engine, kind of, sort of. So next there's the 305 sprint car. It's called a 305, and the wing sprint cars we'll talk about next are 410 sprints. So the numbers mean that there's a cubic inches on the engine. So a 305 means it's the 305 inch cubic inch engine, which that just means the smaller the cubic inch the engine is, just the smaller the engine, which is less horsepower than the engine has. So a 305 engine typically releases about 500 horsepower, and these cars without the wings weigh about 1,200 pounds. Next is the 410 wing sprint cars, which are the hardest to drive. These cars weigh about 1,400 pounds. They have 900 horsepower, which that is 900 horsepower to 1,400 pounds. That's the largest horsepower to weight ratio of any type of car in the world. I know they don't look like a typical car, but they're considered a car. So in the wing, provides more downforce for the air, which keeps the car on the ground, which makes the cars go even more faster. Dirt track racing, I will admit, gets a stereotype of being a bunch of rednecks country people, which it can be true. Fan wise, it can be that way, but as the drivers and the teams and all this, they're pretty advanced technology, and it's a lot more physics than most people would believe. So we're gonna go. So all these tracks, there's 28 tracks you can race from on this game. They're all but one are all fake. This Knoxville Raceway is real. All these tracks on this game are below a mile in length. They have a couple road course tracks, but most of them are oval. In real life, sprint cars, they only race on tracks bigger than a half mile. So, half mile ovals, and they're ovals. They don't race on any road courses. So, the track's bigger on this, or just to give the game a little more video gamey feel, more fun. The bigger tracks are fun to race, more fun to race at because you're going a lot quicker. To give a little comparison so people may not understand sizes, a normal track like would be used for a track and field event. Those are a quarter mile in length. So to where this is a half mile, or some of these tracks you race on are a quarter mile. So I would just say compare on your local track. Just think about going 100 plus miles an hour on track with dirt covered on it. It's pretty crazy. So we'll show you how to race next. So a quick explanation on this format. Practice here is what it says practice. Qualifying, so you get 2 laps to get your best time, and then they take the best times and they rank them, and that's how they'll line up the heat race, the heat races. So heat races are next. So the heat races are typically 8 to 10 laps. I don't know what they are. I have them set it on this game. I have it varied length of races to get more races in when I'm playing. In the heats, they'll take the top 5 that finish. they get locked into the main race or the A main at the end of the night. Then they'll take the other guys that don't make in that top 5. They go to the last chance race, or the B main as it's called in this, and that race is 12 laps. That race takes the top 4. So the qualified dash you see below this takes the top 2 in each race. They lock into the first 4 rows of the main race at the end of the night. It gives the drivers a chance to improve their position or hurt their position. It dashes normally 6 to 8 laps. A little less than couple laps less than the heat race. In the A main, which is the main race of the night, those are only ever 25 to 30 laps. So a NASCAR race would typically be about 400, could be up to 400 laps. So and that's why these are called sprint cars, because these races are more of a sprint instead of the NASCAR race is more of a marathon. They have guys that's riding around until the last 20 laps, then they start trying to pass each other. The sprint cars, they take the first 280 laps out of it, and they just go give these guys 25 to 30 laps to try to improve and pass, which leads to more better racing because they have to be percent the entire time. So we'll race one of these right here. Obviously I didn't qualify, so I'm the last qualifier, so this is a heat race, so I have to get to the top 5 if I do want a chance. So a little trick in this game is, in real life sprint cars you can typically race along that top wall there, and you can race on the bottom. It depends on the track, but normally most tracks you can run both lanes. But in this game it's all on the bottom, just how the dynamics worked. It's hard to be able to race up top, get it to work in a game like this. So they're working on it, they said, but they haven't figured it out yet. And another secret to this is, if you ever run a jet ski, it's very similar to this. To turn, it's the opposite. You have to turn right to go left, or turn left to go right. It's very odd, maybe initially for someone. It takes you a while to get used to that difference. But so we're on the last lap here. These races go very quick. They're running 13-second laps, which that about equivalates to 130 miles an hour. I've been to enough of these just to I get the idea off the top of my head what that averages out to be. So I finished 4th, which means I make the A. So I'm already locked in the main race, but I don't make it into the qualified dash. So that's the sprint car racing game. It's a lot of fun to mess around, and I really recommend playing it. It's a lot of fun.